1 second. All right, here we go. All righty. Hello, everybody. If you're there, hello. Let's see who's here. All right, and we will get started in just a moment. All right. Hello. Let's see who's here. I need to turn that down. All right. Hello, everybody. Hi. Hello, everybody. Let me know that you're here by sending some hearts or some thumbs up. Say something. Hey, good afternoon, Mom. See, my mom is on here. We're praying for my mom. She's not feeling well today. And we're praying for her. And we are going to kind of just jump right in today. Hey, everybody. Yes, thank you so much, Mom, for sharing. I am asking that as you guys come in that you would share this video so that others can be a part of self-checkout. And we do thank you for joining us today on Self-Checkout, where we take an honest look at what's in our hearts, our minds, and our spirits. It's Self-Checkout is an interactive web series that's dedicated to helping you identify the things in your life that affect how you function mentally, spiritually, and emotionally. And we're glad that you have joined us today. And before we get into this, I just have a few announcements that I do need to make, and you will see that in the caption as you come in. Please do not forget that I am hosting my very first leadership summit. It is called Sharpening Our Swords, SOS. It's Sharpening Our Swords Leadership Summit featuring, of course, myself as the host. We have Ewing Eichert II, who will be presenting. We have Prophetess Karen Evans, who will be presenting as well. And of course, our keynote speaker is none other than the Archbishop William Hudson III. And we're really glad to have each of them sharing with us. It's going to happen on Saturday, March 28th at 11 o'clock a.m. at the Oak Brook Terrace Park District in Villa Park, Illinois. Hey, Jocelyn, so glad to see you. Thank you for stopping by Self-Checkout today. Hey, everybody, I'm so glad to see each of you all coming in. So, yeah, make sure you come to our Leadership Summit on Saturday, March 28th. The link to register is in the caption here, sosls.eventbrite.com. Tickets are only $35, and we would love to have you. We're going to feed you first, and then we're going to sharpen our skills, sharpen our swords for leadership, business leadership, and ministry leadership. Again, thank you. So many of you guys are coming in. Thank you. As you come in, please share. We're going to get started with our lesson today. Last week on Self-Checkout, we started talking about how to defeat the spirit of offense. The spirit of offense. And we gave you Luke chapter 17, verses 1 through 4, where Jesus lets us know that we can't live in a world without offense. It happens. We are going to be offended, and let the truth be told, we are going to offend someone at some point in our lives. So we don't live in a world without offense. It's going to happen. But the important thing after it does happen is, what do we do when it happens? So let's just recap a bit. And I have my props today. We'll talk about this in a moment. But let's recap what we talked about last week before we move forward. Last week we talked about the offended versus the offender, knowing your role in that offense. Some situations, we could have been on both sides. We could have been the offender or the one who was offended. So we have to know our own role in the offense. We also talked about the fact that offense is a real thing. It's not a fairy tale. It's not a joke. It's not a game. Being offended is real. It's real, and it destroys relationships if not handled correctly. And we also talked about that when you are offended, your feelings are valid. You have every right to be offended. And I gave you a quote from my own blog that said, you do have the right to be offended. You do have the right to be hurt, but it is your responsibility to get healed from that hurt. We talked about that, and we talked about in that when the offense happens, before you just fly off the handle, take a look at the character of the person that you say offended you, because it may not be in their character. Something may have happened right there that when the offense happened, maybe they didn't intend on offending you and you're flying off the handle for no reason. That's very well possible. So we need to examine their intent, examine their character. Did they intentionally and deliberately hurt you? It's a chance that they did not. And also in that, you want to take responsibility for yourself. You want to take responsibility for you. What role did you play in that situation? Did you say anything? Did you do anything that may have made things escalate once the offense took place? And one of the major parts that we talked about last week was, when offense happens, did I respond or did I react? That was a big deal for us last week, responding versus reacting. Reacting says instantly, I'm reacting right away to what I felt. I'm reacting right now to the anger that I feel because you offended me. And chances are, when you react immediately like that, you could do a whole lot of damage. Whereas if you just simply calm down, relax, which is our prompt we used last week, relax, relax, relax. If you just take some time and relax after you feel offended, you won't react, you will respond. A respond could be softer. And sometimes we talked about a reaction and a response kind of looks similar, but it feels different. A response feels different than a reaction. So we want to learn how not to react so quickly, but we want to calm down, we want to relax, and then we want to respond. All right? And also, we talked about that after we acknowledge the fact that we are offended, what do? What's next? What now? We're offended. What now? And we said that what you can do next determines how well you quickly heal or recover from that offense. And sometimes after you're offended, some people, we have different types of people that how you react or respond once you're offended. We have some types of people that can, feel the need to not even address the situation. You know what? It's not a big deal. Just wash your hands of it and move on, and forgive that person, and just go on. And then we have other people who may take a different approach. These are the people that are willing to address the situation. Let's talk about this. You offended me. I need to talk to you about the fact that I was offended. And they can sit down like adults and have a conversation. And many times you'll find out that, it's not all the time, but many times you'll find out that this offense was merely a simple misunderstanding where the words were misconstrued somehow. But you have to be willing to have that conversation in order to find that out. And a lot of times we carry the weight of offense on us for so long. We hold grudges. We talked about that last week too. We'll hold a grudge, but we won't hold a conversation. If we just have the conversation, you can really work things out. And most of the time you'll find out that it really wasn't even a big deal to begin with. So, and also, if you do approach someone because you were offended, we talked about last week, don't just talk, be willing to listen to that person as well. Because we got a whole lot to say, but we need to, be adult enough in offense to sit down and listen to the person that we said offended us. Because we need to know why they did what they did, why they said what they said. And also, if you approach someone saying that they offended you, you need to know that your approach is key. Delivery is key. How you say things is key. Don't go to them angrily. Go to them in love. Go to them civilly. Go to them respectfully. And say, you know what? Listen, this is what happened. You said X, Y, Z. You did X, Y, Z. And I was personally offended by that. And I'd like to talk to you about it. It's simple. It's as simple as that. And you can get a lot done. You can get a lot accomplished in that, because we are Christians, and even Christians, yes, we're going to fall out. Yes, we are. But if you value that covenant relationship, then you need to know how to deal with offense when it comes, because it is coming. And you could save a lot of relationships. When you go to them, don't be petty. Don't be petty. I see a lot of people nowadays on social media who are proud to call themselves petty, and I'll never understand that to save my life. I just don't. I don't get it. How dare you be petty and rude and mean on purpose? To purposely and deliberately try to be offensive to someone. I don't understand that, and I would rather not be around those types of individuals. So we don't take shots. We don't post on social media subliminal messages. We don't do that. We shouldn't do that, but it's being done when we are offended. Instead of talking to that person, we talk to everybody else except the person that we say offended us. So we go to social media and we take shots and we make these stupid posts when you could simply go to that person that you say offended you. So many friendships and relationships are being destroyed due to misunderstandings or lack of communication. Some issues can simply be resolved by having a conversation with the appropriate person. If you have a problem with someone, it won't be solved by going to everyone except that person that you have the problem with. So, and that's getting us caught up to where we are today. And so today I want to talk about the apology that I never got. And that's a big deal, because even being Christian and trying to handle things the right way, you go to the person that offended you or that hurt you, and inwardly, if we're honest, we really want an apology. We want to hear, I'm sorry for hurting you. I'm sorry for offending you. I apologize. Please forgive me. Right? That's what we want to hear. But you and I both well know that sometimes that's not what's going to happen. Some people are just going to be who they are, and they will not apologize even after they know they hurt you. So, my question to you, my friend, is what do you do when the offender won't apologize? What do? You are due an apology. You were hurt. Your feelings are valid, remember? You were hurt, you were offended, you want an apology, but you won't get one. They refuse to give you an apology. So what do? Okay, let's take a look at this. I am a fan of Real Housewives of Atlanta. If you're on it right now and you watch this show, let me see some hearts or some likes. I want to know how many of you watch the Housewives of Atlanta. I watched that show, and the last episode that I watched, it was actually Sunday, this past episode. Hey, Vet, yes, the apology that I never got. Yeah, sometimes that's just life, unfortunately. you won't get the apology that you deserve. But in Sunday's episode of The Real Housewives of Atlanta, Nene and Cynthia, if y'all been watching, y'all know they've been into it really, really bad, saying all kind of crazy stuff about one another. And in Sunday's episode, they met up to discuss the breakdown in their friendship, but neither Cynthia nor Nene at first were willing to apologize. They kept going back and forth. Well, you said this about me. You said this about me. But you said this first. And you interviewed this. They kept going back and forth. Neither one of them, they watch this. They both were acknowledging, yeah, I did that. Yeah, I did that. I said that. But neither at first wanted to apologize, were willing to apologize. But watch this. Once Cynthia, if you watch the episode, you know what I'm talking about. Once Cynthia saw that there would be no resolution, she decided to take the high road, right? So she said, I'll just apologize first. She took the high road. She got Nene and she apologized for her part in the offense. Her apology then prompted Nene to apologize to her for her part in the offense. So had not Cynthia been the bigger person, there would have never, the healing process couldn't have started. It wouldn't have started. There would have been no resolve had she not apologized. So she was the bigger person. And let me say this, being the bigger person or taking the high road, that's not a sign of weakness. It's a sign of maturity, actually. Because you have every right to be upset. But when you decide, you know what, I'm not going to deal with this. I'm not going to go through this. I'm just going to take the high road. I'll be the bigger person. And I'll apologize even if I did nothing wrong. Even I'd rather have peace than to be right. Oh boy. Because sometimes we know we're right. We know that you are right. And you know what? I will just apologize anyway. Just for the sake of peace. Just apologize. Because if you don't, that could get real messy. It could get real messy. And an apology is like this. This is what we're doing. This is what we do with apologies. This is why I have this here. Because stuff gets messy. Situations between people in relationship get messy. But an apology serves as this Clorox wipe. You can clean up that whole mess with one wipe, with one apology. Even if you were right. Just apologize and move on. Now, in this case, when the offender actually does apologize, you hope that this particular issue won't come up again. Because changed behavior has got to follow any apology. I'm going to say that again. Changed behavior must follow an apology. If I walk up to you and I slap you in your face and I say, oh, I'm sorry. And the next time I see you, I slap you in your face and I say, oh, I'm sorry. And every time I see you, we keep repeating the same thing. I'm not sorry. I'm just repeating what I'm doing to you and saying I'm sorry without changing my behavior. No, if an apology comes with change. If there is no change, there is no real apology. If there is no change, there is no real apology. If the behavior continues, an apology won't resolve it, and an apology won't have any meaning. You can say you're sorry all you want to, but I'm offended, and if I tell you I'm offended by what you did, and you refuse to change that, your apology means nothing. People that we call these types of people that continue to do things, we call those types of people repeat offenders. they keep doing the same thing over and over again and not apologize about it. But you, in some cases, not in this case, but in some cases, don't forget to be the bigger person. If it's not that big of a deal, just go to them and apologize. Because in some situations, we have what's called the elephant in the room, where there's tension and everybody can feel the tension, but nobody's willing to address it. No, you got to talk about that stuff. You got to talk about it. And also last week, I shared with you guys a situation that I had a couple years ago where individual, was getting at me because I told him he couldn't have some of my daddy's food, blah, 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 the whole story, whatever, and it got out of hand because I reacted and I did not respond. I want you to know that same individual, contacted me this week and said to me, Pastor Will, I want to talk to you because you offended me. My initial thought was, again, but I didn't say that. I said, I did. How did I offend you? And they began to say what their experience was. And now, let me say this. Initially, I thought to myself, and I'm being honest, I thought to myself, you got to be kidding me. Are you seriously bringing this to me? Because the individual was in the wrong, and everybody around knew that they were in the wrong. But I didn't even go there. What I did was I listened to what they had to say. I listened. And I let them finish. And when they finished, the first thing I did was I apologized for them being offended. I sure did. I had done nothing wrong, but I apologized. I said, I am sorry that you feel I offended you, because that was not my goal. And I did not diminish their experience. I didn't take that away. That's how they felt. So I gave them that. You know what? I apologize that you were offended. I did not mean to offend you. So when how it ended up, I still don't think he was satisfied, but that's okay. Because I did what I was supposed to have done by offering a sincere apology. Because again, sometimes we do things or we say things that people take offense to. And number one, we had no intention on offending them. And number two, don't forget this. You have some people who are very sensitive and they're easily offended. And we hit on that last week too, about when you have to walk on eggshells around certain people. No good for me. That's not me. I can't do it. But nevertheless, I did apologize and I recognized his experience. And I said, okay, I hear you. I hear that you're saying I offended you. And if that's your experience, I apologize for offending you. All right? And we moved on. In this case, I apologized that he felt offended, but I could not apologize for what I said, because what I did was I was setting order. And so therefore I didn't apologize for that. I apologized for him feeling offended. But we've got to do that. And next thing, moving on from that, whether the offender chooses to apologize or not, forgiveness from you is necessary in order to heal and move forward. If you were offended, if you were hurt, and the person that hurt you or offended you will not apologize, You have to be willing to forgive them and move on with your life. You have to be willing to forgive. Forgiveness is necessary in order to heal and to move forward. Let me give you this definition really quickly of forgiveness. Forgiveness is to grant pardon for or remission of an offense or a debt. To absolve. It also means to pardon an offense or an offender. To excuse one's ignorance or impoliteness. It means to overlook, to disregard, to ignore, absolve, exonerate, or acquit. Now, I want to give you another thing in relation to forgiveness, because it means a lot of different things to different people. And generally, it involves a decision to let go of resentment and to let go of seeking revenge, because that's what a lot of people do when they're hurt. They want to get revenge. They want to get revenge on the person that hurt them. Now, the act that hurt or offended you may always be with you, but forgiveness can lessen its grip on you and help free you from the control of the person that harmed you. When you refuse to forgive and move on, that person has control over you. Yes. And they're sleeping at night, sleeping good at night, but you can't sleep because you're holding on to an offense that you'll never get an apology for. You've got to forgive that person. You've got to, because if you're going to have any peace in your life, in your mind, you're going to have to forgive that person. Forgiveness can lead to feelings of understanding, empathy, compassion, even for the person that hurt you. It doesn't mean I'm going to forget what they did. It doesn't mean that I'm going to excuse what they did. I'm not excusing the harm done. But it brings this kind of peace when you forgive that really just helps you go on with your life. Excuse me. And I want you to know that there are many benefits to forgiving someone. What are some of those benefits? Letting go of grudges and bitterness can make way for improved health, physical health, and peace of mind. Watch this. Forgiveness can lead to healthier relationships, improved mental health, less anxiety, stress, and hostility, lower blood pressure, fewer symptoms of depression, a stronger immune system. Yes, forgiveness helps to heal the body, the physical body. It also improves heart health and improves self-esteem. That is really amazing. Some of the things that you encounter or that you deal with in your physical body, depression, sickness, high blood pressure, some of the things that we just talked about. Ask God, and I'm serious, ask God to search your heart. Search your heart and to show you if there is any unforgiveness in you. If there's any unforgiveness in you, ask God to help you to forgive whoever needs to be forgiven. Because your body will change, man. If you seek forgiveness, if you forgive those, the Bible says, Jesus said in the Lord's Prayer, forgive us our debts as we forgive those who trespass against us, as we forgive our debtors. It has an effect on your physical body when you are holding on to the spirit of offense. It has an effect on your body. Depression comes from unforgiveness because that stuff sets up bitterness in your heart. And you, Christian, cannot walk around with bitterness and anger in your heart, resentment, because we have ministry to do. And we can't effectively do ministry when we're walking around bitter and angry and holding on to forgiveness. There are some things that people, even your immediate family, I'm kind of veering into prophecy a little bit right here, and that's not why I'm here, but I want to say this. There are people in your immediate family, some of you, that have hurt you to the core, and you have carried it for years. And there are some things going on in your physical body that the doctors cannot even understand why you're dealing with this. It's because of bitterness and unforgiveness. You've got to let that go. You've got to let that go. You've got to let that go. Forgive them. Forgive them. Forgive them. Pray. Forgive them. And watch God release that from your body if you forgive them in love. Man, I just want to release that because I felt that in the spirit. In relation to that, I want to tell you something else. Back to the Housewives of Atlanta, because it's entertaining for me to watch. Another person on that show, Kenya Moore. If you watch, you know Kenya Moore. A couple seasons ago, maybe 2-3 seasons ago, I don't know how long it was, she is estranged from her mother. Her mother, there was something happened in their relationship where they didn't talk from a childhood on through her adulthood, and she's like in her 40s now, I think, maybe close to 50, whatever. But she went back to find her mother as a 40-something-year-old woman, and her mother still didn't want anything to do with her. And Kenya had allowed this to affect her for over 20, 30-something years. And, you know, it's a lot of layers on that, but let me say this to you. You don't have 20, 30 years to waste because of a failed relationship, whether it's family or not. You don't have that kind of time. You know what? If they don't want to be bothered, they are missing out on the best of you. Move on with your life. Love them still, forgive them, hurt for a little while. But don't let that hurt stop your life. You have to forgive and move on. So, next, how do I reach a state of forgiveness once I've been offended, once I've been hurt? Good to see my brother Josh, Minister Josh, on here. Thank you for joining us today. Thank you for everybody that's on. Thank you. How do I reach a state of forgiveness? Forgiveness is a commitment to a personalized process of change. To move from suffering to forgiveness, you might recognize the value of forgiveness and how it can improve your life. I gave you some of the benefits of forgiving. Identify what needs healing and who needs to be forgiven and for what. Let me say that one again because that one is good. You need to identify what needs healing and who needs to be forgiven and for what. That's a process in itself. And you also may want to consider joining a support group or seeing a counselor, a therapist. People, there is nothing wrong with getting therapy. Nothing wrong with it. Nothing wrong with it at all. Also, acknowledge your emotions about the harm that was done to you and how they affect your behavior, and work to release them. You gotta work to release that stuff. Choose to forgive the person who offended you. And watch this, very important here. Move away from your role as victim and release the control and power the offending person and situation has had in your life. You have to make a decision. I'm not going to be victim to this anymore. I'm not going to be victim to this. I'm taking control back from you that offended me. I'm taking control back over my life. I won't walk in bitterness. I won't walk in anger because you hurt me. I'm taking my control back. And that's what some of you need to do today. Take your control back. You have the power within you to take control back of your life. And that begins by walking in forgiveness towards the individuals that have hurt you and that have offended you. Do you put conditions on your forgiveness? That means if you're the kind of person that will only forgive someone if they apologize to you. If they don't apologize, will you still forgive them? If they don't apologize to you, are you going to hold a grudge against them forever? No. No, this stops today. You will not hold a grudge against them forever, because you holding a grudge against them, it slows you down. It slows your momentum down. Release it. Forgive them. Refusing to forgive leads to bitterness and resentment. Bitterness can also lead to anger, and that's a bad place to be in. That's a bad place to be in, where you're constantly angry. That's a bad place to be in. If the offense caused a deep mental and or emotional wound, be willing to seek therapy if necessary. We talked about that a minute ago. And if you find it hard to get over what happened to you, be willing to get that counseling. Because some stuff is not as easy as, let's sit down and let me tell you, you hurt me. And they say, oh, I'm sorry I hurt you. And you walk hand in hand into the sunset. No, it's not that easy sometimes. Some of the hurt that we feel, the anger, the bitterness, the offense that we feel is deep-rooted. And it's going to take more than an I'm sorry for you to move past it. And that's understandable. That's understandable. Your feelings are valid. But you have to be willing to start the process of healing. Share your experience. Share your experience. Talk about your experience. What you feel. How they made you feel. Get it at the root. Go all the way down in it. And find out where that is and deal with it. If you have to seek professional help to do it, that's what they're there for. Counselors and therapists are there to assist you with that. And we're getting ready to be done here. What does moving forward look like after an offensive experience? What does that look like? You telling me to move forward. What does that look like? Well, how do you engage with the offender after the offense? Do you still resent them? Do you cut them off completely? Are you willing to repair the breach in that friendship? Are you willing to repair the breach in that relationship? In most cases, the offense occurred with someone you engage with on a regular basis. Maybe at home, at work, at school, at church. Because you gotta really, really know me for me to say I'm offended by something that you do or say. If I don't know you, we're not in a relationship, what you say, chances are I'm not offended, because I probably wouldn't not even paying attention to what you're saying. But if we're in a relationship, you know me, you have the ability to hurt me. So chances are that hurt comes from someone that you know, someone that's close to you. And are you able to be around this person moving forward? Can you be civil with them? Can you be cordial with them? And listen, being civil and being cordial with someone that offended you, that's not being phony. Don't let anybody tell you that. That's not phony. That's maturity. That's maturity. There are so many people, well, not so many, but there are some people that I know personally that have said some very nasty things about me. And they don't even know that I know. And I treat them just the same. Love them just the same. Because I'm not going to carry that around. Yes, I know what you said. But that's you. That's what you said. I wash my hands of that. I can't walk around hating you because you said this about me 15 years ago. No. I have too much to do. I have too much life to live. I have too much ministry to do. I cannot be concerned about what some small-minded individual said about me over a decade ago. Absolutely ridiculous. So you need to learn how to be civil with people that have offended you. And again, if it's a relationship that you value, have the conversation. If you don't value the relationship, okay, fine. If it's nothing, fine. And if it is nothing, why are you holding on to it? You have to let it go. You have to let it go. This is self-checkout. The spirit of offense is in some of our carts. And we're holding on to this spirit because we never got the apology that we wanted. Oh boy. So today I'm hoping, it is my prayer, that in self-checkout that you will take offense out of your cart. You were offended. Or maybe you were the one that offended someone. Yeah, could be, right? But today we are removing the spirit of offense out of our carts. The Kenton Spirituals made a song some time ago that said, I have to clean up what I messed up. And I'm starting my life over again. This is what we have to do sometimes. We need to clean up what we have messed up. Because all the times, it's not we were offended. Sometimes we offended someone. And it could be as simple as saying, you know what? I shouldn't have done that. I shouldn't have said that. I apologize. I love you. I value our relationship. So let me apologize to you. And let's keep our covenant relationship going. Because we have to defeat this spirit of offense. We're taking it out of our cart. I'm taking offense out of my cart today. I'm taking offense out of my cart. So as we go back, when the offender refuses to apologize, what do? The apology I never got. What you do is you live. You live. You forgive. You don't hold on to that. You don't hold on to that bitterness. You don't hold on to that anger. You don't hold on to the grudges. You have to let that stuff go. Remember, forgiving leads to healthier relationships, improved mental health, less anxiety, less stress, less hostility, lower blood pressure, fewer symptoms of depression, a stronger immune system, improved heart health, improved self-esteem. You can gain so much, family. You can gain so much by simply forgiving, letting go of the offense, letting go of the hurt. Your pain is valid. What you feel is valid. It's a real thing. But let me say this one more time. You have every right to be hurt, but it is your responsibility to get healed from that hurt. It's your responsibility. So today, last week and today, I hope, hey Shirley, hey, thank you for coming in. I know you're late. I was looking for you. But today, I hope that you have taken to heart what was said last week and this week. I hope that you're able now to remove the spirit of offense from your cart and self-checkout. Like in the grocery store, you go to self-checkout and you see something in your cart, you're like, you know what? I don't even need this in there. And you take it up, you put it off to the side because you don't want to pay for something that you don't need. Whew, That was good. You don't want, hey, Minister Carol Booker, thank you so much for joining us. You don't want to pay for something that you don't need. And keeping the spirit of offense in your spiritual shopping cart, you're going to pay for some stuff that you don't need. Manny, that's Manny. He says, I'm going through this right now. It just happened. They made me mad and I'm dealing with it. I have to be under his preaching also, but I'm working on changing and not holding resentment, even though the flesh wants to hold on. Yes, Manny, the flesh does want to hold on, and we can harbor resentment. And in that case, it appears that this is a pastor or a preacher that you're under, and you really want to take a good look at that relationship that you have with this preacher. You want to, again, go back to last week's lesson. And remember last week we asked ourselves to, if we were hurt or offended, to look at the character of the person that offended us. Examine their character. Did they deliberately do this? So you might want to take a look at the character of that person that offended you. And if you have relationship and you value that relationship, then respond, don't react. Take a moment, pray about it, and when time permits, go to them and share your experience with them and say, you know what, sir, ma'am, whatever, you hurt me, you offended me when you said this, you did this. And if the relationship is right, if you have a covenant relationship, you can work through that. I am for cleaning up any mess when it comes to a pastor and a member. I'm all for that. I'm really, really for that. Because, and pastors get wrong too. Preachers get wrong too. Yeah, I'm one of them. I get wrong sometimes, and people have to reel me back in. I have accountability partners that'll say, you know you were wrong. And I'll go and apologize, because we're not perfect people. But if you value that relationship, go to them in love. Don't go angry. Don't go until that anger is gone. And then clean that relationship up. Yes, thank you, Phyllis. So glad you're here. Thank you, Mama. Shirley says, and I'm leaving, Shirley says, this spirit is very damaging, especially to the person that doesn't want to let it go. This requires deliverance on their behalf only if they want it. Just forgive. And that is absolutely right. Only if you want it will this work for you. Because our spiritual carts will carry stuff around with us for decades when all you have to do is take it out. Why keep paying for something that you don't want? So, we are done with defeating the spirit of offense. I have given you so many tips and scripture. I also post some other scripture that I have. I'll post it in the comments here later on. I have other scripture, and that to go along with defeating the spirit of offense. If you have something in your shopping cart that you would like us to deal with on self-checkout, simply email us at WTMinistries3, WTMinistries3 at gmail.com, or you can inbox us here on Facebook if you have something in your cart that you would like for us to deal with, because that is what we do here on self-checkout. We take an honest look at things that affect our hearts, things that are in our hearts, our spirits, and our minds. And it is my prayer that we can help you to live a better life by removing things from your cart so you won't have to keep paying for them through life, right? So I'm Pastor Willie Taylor. This has been Self-Checkout, episode number 2. Thank you so much for tuning in. We will see you again next week, next Thursday at 12 o'clock noon, as we take a look at some other things in our shopping cart. If you don't mind, please share this video with someone. Hopefully it'll be a blessing to them. And also don't forget to register for our Sharpening Our Swords Leadership Summit. It's coming up Saturday, March 28th. You can register for that. It's only $35. You can register for that at SOSLS. Sharpening Our Swords Leadership Summit, the initials, the acronym, SOSLS.eventbrite.com. I love each of you. Shirley, I'll put the email in there. It's just about right. WTMinistries3@gmail.com. Thank you so much, Shirley, for everything that you do. We appreciate you. All right, guys, that's it. We are defeating the spirit of offense. We're done. Go back and take a look at episode number 1 if you missed it last week, and you'll get more on this. And we'll see you next week on Self Checkout. God bless you. I'm signing off for now.